Roar!
Ew.
Hello and welcome to Pony&Wolf Productions. Today we'll be reading 10 Things I Hate About You, written by DaOtterGuy. As always, these are our amazing Patreons. Link is in the description if you wish to join. And shall we get to it? It was a glorious sunny morning in Canterlot. Sunburst sat at the edge of a stone step, looking up at the clear blue skies. Not a single cloud in sight. Held delicately between his hooves was a thin white piece of paper, words scrawled across it in his near illegible hoofwriting. Sun Scratch, he used to call it. The area was quiet, but that wasn't unusual in the place Sunburst found himself in. No one was near him, and even the few specks of ponies he saw in the distance were more concerned with their own affairs than that of a yellow unicorn sitting by himself. He was thinking, and that was bad. He dwelled on thoughts he didn't want to, things better left alone. Looking to his right, a faint scowl on his face, he stared intently at the target of his ire. "I wrote a list, Spearhead," Sunburst said. 10 things I hate about you." No reply came. "Fine, don't answer. I always do the talking for us anyway." He coughed into a hoof to clear his throat. An abrupt sound within the silence of the area. "Firstly, I hate how you perch everywhere," Sunburst snorted. "You always seem to be higher than me at every opportunity, and it's annoying. I always have to look up when I want to talk to you outside. Whenever I asked you to come down, you'd always just give me that damn smile and tell me you preferred being there. It was easier to watch out for me." He glanced further down the page, finding difficulty in voicing the words, despite the underlying frustrations buried between the lines. "Secondly, I hate how quiet you are. You'd always drone on and on about my research, and you never said a word in response beside the occasional nod or affirmation that you were listening. Always that same look on your face." He recalled the look easily. Perked ears and a massive grin that always reached his eyes. "It's so embarrassing being the only speaker, and everyone was always judging our relationship as one-sided because I was the only one that talked. But it wasn't my fault. You never talked about anything." Crumpling the paper slightly in his hooves, Sunburst's scowl became more prominent as he did so. "That actually segues into my third point. You never talked about your problems with me. I never even knew you were injured until I would accidentally hold you in the wrong way. Because of course I screwed up hugs." Another angry snort followed as Sunburst recalled the pained expression Spearhead would have whenever he answered that he was fine. Always fine. Even worse, I had to hear it from Flash Sentry that you'd been seeing a psychologist for a possible depression diagnosis because of your work. Why would you tell your friends but not me? He slammed his hoof on the stone step. "Also, you snore louder than an Ursa Major, and sleep like one too. Nothing short of an apocalypse could wake you. And even then I think you wouldn't wake up until the meteor had already hit you." Sunburst clenched his jaw as he recalled how peacefully he always slept. How comforting it was to hear the steady sound of his breathing as they cuddled together. "And don't get me started on your cooking." Sunburst rolled his eyes as he recalled the smell of burnt pancakes and maple syrup bottles every Sunday morning. Why did you even think you could cook the bottle? Honestly, my mother couldn't get me to learn to cook. But your terrible cooking made me pick up the skill really fast. A strange hobby he still kept up, as he learned to love cooking his own food. "So, fifthly, wait, what number are we on?" He quickly scanned the page. "Sorry, sixthly, the paint. Oh, sweet sunspots, the paint. It got everywhere. I don't think I went a day without finding some new splatter on my cloak or research papers, or even my glasses." It had mostly been his fault, of course, with how frequently he liked to work near Spearhead as he painted his latest art piece. Each one never failed to set Sunburst's heart aflutter. Then, of course, there's the codependency. You clung to me everywhere, mainly due to Sunburst's anxiety and panic attacks. He had seen it once and never wished to be absent if it happened again. He cared too much. Plus there was all those romantic sappiness. Silly pickup lines, flowers, and all these thoughtful gifts. I hated it. Even in Princess Cadence's help, I could never get you anything better than books, books, books! Which Spearhead always enjoyed because he loved to learn new things. Sunburst's hooves shook as tears welled up in the corner of his eyes. Nicely? He continued, pushing through the emotions welling in his throat. I hated that you were a guard, always galloping headfirst into danger. I never knew if our goodbyes were going to be the last, and even when you did come home, there were new injuries, new scars, until he choked, the welling in his throat finally having caught up with him. The tears flowed freely down his face as he cried out in pain, a sound of wordless agony. It took everything to regain control, to read the final words on his tear-stained parchment. And finally, and most importantly, I hate that you made me love you. Placing a hoof on Spearhead's gravestone, he admired the crystal work, beautifully carved quartz made in honor of the hero that fought back the Wendigos that had threatened the Empire. Petting the tombstone lovingly, with a bittersweet smile on his face, Sunburst got up on his hooves. He nearly fell, weak from the outburst he just had, but he managed to stand tall. Goodbye, Spear. Love you. I'll see you next month. Then Sunburst left, alone. I didn't catch on immediately, I admit, and I can only imagine what Sunburst is going through. The fact that I don't even know who the Spearhead is. Well done. That was 10 Things I Hate About You, written by DaOtterGuy. I hope you all enjoyed, and keep watching that moon, everyone.